Hey guys, it's Xander from Player's Perspective. The following video is a segment from our podcast. If you like the video, you can check out our other content on YouTube, such as segments like these, or you can check out our full length podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. So, the next topic we're going to be talking about is the UFO um, stuff that's going on. There's this guy that works for the US government, supposedly. Air Force veteran says US government retrieved alien spacecraft and hid it. There's a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting the US public. And this is from newsnationnow.com. And they have a YouTube channel, which I'm not sure how many views it has, but we can click on that if you want to watch some of that, Jay Styles.
Sure.
But I think we should read this article first about it. It'll probably, the video might also be on the site as well. Okay. So a military whistleblower claims U.S. has UFO retrieval program. Air Force veteran David Grush claims the government is covering up UFOs. Grush claims he has seen evidence of a secret crash retrieval program. He alleges that the U.S. has even retrieved bodies from other species. It looks like this is the actual video.
Yeah. So before we go on, I did do a little bit of research, only because I was like really interested in this. But so apparently, this dude is exclusively doing this with News Nation. So that's
really?
It's a little weird.
Okay.
But I mean that could mean one of many things. So either they're going to pay him exclusively because they want the story and they don't want any other news outlet on it.
Getting to it, yeah.
Right. Or he wants to only do it on News Nation because they're paying him a shit ton of money to only do it on News Nation. Yeah. Well, also, or he could be lying and only wants to tell his story once, so that way he doesn't change his story. So, like I said, there's a number of things that could be the case here.
I personally haven't heard about News Nation before, which kind of makes me feel a little sus of it, but it does almost have, I mean, I know this is YouTube, but I mean, it almost does have like 1 million subs. So, I mean, apparently it has some traction, unless it just got all the subs from this news article.
Right.
So, I mean, who knows? Like, this is the first time I'm hearing of News Nation now. Okay. So, should I read some of this here?
Yeah, go ahead.
An Air Force veteran and former member of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency is coming forward with information on what he claims are extraterrestrial craft recovered and kept secret by the U.S. government. Blurry videos of unidentified flying objects have long been staple of those looking for evidence that stories of UFOs. Okay, so they're just talking about random videos online and shit. In recent years, which what was like 2017 when they started coming out with the releases of the UFO stuff, where they're being more open about it. I think
started calling them UAPs.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAP.
Oh yeah, they were okay. So they were basically saying that some of these have actually happened. I forget. I think it was the CIA that was releasing it, right, or something like that.
Well, it's it's the Pentagon.
The Pentagon, okay.
Yeah, the Pentagon releases them.
Anyways, so in recent years, the government has taken a more vocal role in investigating such sightings, with Congress forming an official U.S. government. Oh, right there, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. So they even have a task force
Mhm.
to check out these
So
UFOs.
so that's one thing that I think they changed. They changed the UAP, like they changed it from UFO to UAP. They've also had another term for it. I completely forget what it is.
Yeah,
But it a lot of people don't understand that just because something is technically identified as a UAP or UFO, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not from this planet. It just means that
yeah, yeah,
they do not know what it is and they don't know where it's from.
yeah. They have no idea if it
Right.
came from a
They
foreign
can't
country
identify
or what.
it.
Yeah,
Right. They can't identify it as something other than unidentified. So
yeah,
I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand. Like they just think, oh, UFO. But if the things like this, like when Air Force pilots or even pilots in general say that they've seen something, that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be,
yeah. Some
aliens. But
some of those videos. So I think there was like one guy. There's one pilot that was like, I've never seen like any of these movements in the air before. Like some of the maneuvers that this craft or um, UAP was doing was
yeah, out of this, yeah.
it was out of our realm of the understanding of physics. Basically, is what he
Mhm.
was saying.
Mhm.
Um, Anyways, so at the same time, NASA and the other government agencies have repeatedly said that there is no credible evidence of extraterrestrial activity on Earth, attributing most sightings to natural phenomena or human-made objects. Okay. All right. So David Grush is formally blowing the whistle on seekers he said no one has ever shared publicly before. Now, I'm a little skeptical of this. I did watch a little bit into the video, and he was basically given clearance by the government to release some of this information, like some of the stuff that he's talking about. He's been given clearance to release it. So I don't know if it's really blowing the whistle if he got um like permission to do so. So
Yeah.
Grush spoke exclusively to award-winning investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, reporting for News Nation. Coulthart has spent years reporting on the subjects of UFOs, so maybe that's why.
That may be it, but like I said, it could be a number of things. Like they could have offered him like if you exclusively talk to us, we'll pay you blah 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 money. It
Yeah,
could have been
probably something like that.
maybe he doesn't trust anybody. Maybe he knows this guy. Maybe he doesn't trust anybody else with the information. I really don't know why it's exclusive.
Yeah,
I find it weird. I do find it a little odd that he wouldn't want to push it to multiple news outlets. I
multiple
find
news
that
outlets,
yeah,
especially like CNN or like Fox News, where most of the public are, at least in the United States, are watching one of
right.
those news outlets.
Because News Nation, I've never even heard of News Nation until this came out. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
makes me.
Maybe they did get a huge following from this article, but
I was talking to Oos, and I mean maybe it's because he wants to limit the amount of people that see it. Maybe he thinks it might cause a panic. I mean, maybe. I don't think
that's
so
actually
though.
yeah. That I mean that could be one reason. I don't know. I don't know if that exactly worked though, because obviously it went viral. So
Yeah. Well, I mean,
a lot of
well,
people.
you have to think a lot of people, like normal people, don't check Twitter like every day, or maybe most people don't even have a Twitter. Um,
Well, people who are still watching the news now, they probably don't check Twitter every day. I don't know a
yeah,
lot of people in my life that still watch the news.
yeah. I don't know if maybe. Well, you said CNN did actually cover
Yeah, so
like some
see,
of this stuff.
yeah, CNN has been covering a lot of UFO stuff lately. So
Okay. All right. Okay. So direct quote from this is these are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will, non-human exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed. This is in the crash retrieval program.
So when, see, I wish he would expand on that, because that have either landed or crashed. So you're telling me that they just landed a UFO or UAP, whatever you want to call it, somewhere, and
Hey, maybe they needed to stop for like a gas
just
up,
left it, and they were just
They
like, all
parked
right,
it.
yeah,
They're
they
like,
just park it, like,
don't forget the keys.
they locked the keys inside, and they were like, shit, how are we gonna get it back? Like, I don't.
They're on some space alien fucking
I
drugs, and we're like, yo, how the fuck do we get
also
back in this?
also, how does he know that they landed? Maybe they crash landed. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Maybe
well,
maybe
you
they
would see,
crashed it
you would
and it just
see.
kind of looked landed.
I mean, you would see. Well, unless, like I said before, the physics is really beyond our understanding. You would see like some sort of trail on the ground. Like there would be, like the
Yeah,
ground would have shifted if there was some sort of crash.
that's true. But how old are these crafts? Um, you know what I mean? Like, could they have done an archaeological dig to and found these? You know what I mean? How he's not specifying whether they're new or if we've had them for a really long time.
Yeah.
Or maybe he did, and I haven't seen the full interview. Maybe he did, but
Um. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they could be. I never even thought about it. They could be older. I mean, who knows? I mean, um,
also there was, I don't know if you saw this post, but there was a crash that was caught on a police body cam.
oh yeah, that's one of the things where that's one of the videos I have for
Oh,
later.
okay, okay, sweet,
We
sweet.
okay. Um. Okay.
CNN
So
covered that too.
did I?
Yeah, Barstool, like a ton of media outlets picked it up. A ton.
Hmm. All right. Let me just read a little bit more of this, and then we can click on the video. Uh. Well, this quote might be in the thing, so I'm just going to read down here a little bit. Grush alleges the U.S. government has recovered non-human craft for decades. He recently filed a whistleblower complaint stating he gave what he referred to as classified proof to Congress and the intelligence community inspector general. Um, News Nation has confirmed Grush's credentials and resume, but has not seen or verified the alleged proof he said he provided to investigators. Grush said he can't show News Nation the evidence for national security reasons. Okay. Okay. Um, he has also not seen the photos of the alleged craft himself.
Okay,
But
that's almost like telling somebody like, "Hey, I got to tell you something," and then going, "Oh, never mind. I can't tell you. I can't tell you. Sorry, man."
someone told me that someone told them
Yeah,
that
yeah. Someone told me, but I can't tell you.
uh,
It's like that type of thing. But also, if he has not seen the photos, it's almost like he's speaking for somebody else. It's like he's
yeah,
speaking for something he didn't experience.
maybe he's the fall guy. I don't know.
That's true.
Maybe um
Somebody's like, "Look, I need you to come out with this."
so this statement I think I have a little bit of a problem with. There is a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting the US populace which is extremely unethical and immoral. So what exactly is the disinformation campaign that they're not revealing that they know of alien
Well,
species or
most likely what he's saying is that, the US government doesn't give up the information that they need to be giving up. Like this, I guess he's using the word disinformation as in they're not coming out and saying that it's of a different species.
well I mean, that could be. I don't know. Disinformation implies that like there's a specific intent that they're
To
trying to manipulate like the
right.
public, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm trying to say. Like they're trying to manipulate the public as in saying that we don't know that they're from a different planet when really they
yeah,
probably do.
they might.
Right.
I mean, they could be trying not to make a panic. Honestly, don't know how many people would panic. I'm sure there's tons of people that would be like curious, maybe fine with it, but maybe there's a whole bunch of people that would go up in a panic about this type of alien stuff. So who knows? Um,
Yeah, I
but
mean, let's be honest though. Think about the last like 5 years of like UFO information. I feel like this past year or past 2 years has been astronomical. I
yeah,
feel like we have gotten way more information. Pentagon has released way more information. More people are coming out. Like I feel like if something is going to happen,
yeah.
it's going to be soon. Like
I
I
mean,
don't know what it is, but something like I get a weird feeling about like everything that they know
I think
because
I think if there's a legitimate threat that the government would have to like tell us, like they would have to release the info. Um,
yeah.
I don't know. Um,
See, sometimes I wonder. I'm like, are they just doing this to see how the public's gonna react? You know what I mean?
I mean, they could
Like
be testing the waters,
they
see if
could be
it's
like, let's see what's gonna happen. Like, let's have this person come out because I would say at least, and I'm not trying to bring religion into this or anything, but I would say most people that are religious, they don't believe that anything exists outside this world. So like I would say a majority of people read stories like this and they just like, nah, like whatever.
yeah.
It's just another.
Yeah. Well, they probably yeah. I get what you're saying because a lot of
But obviously
religious
not
people would
just
be
right. Right, not just religious people, but I'm
yeah
saying there's a large number of religious people. Then there's also just people who don't believe in aliens in general. But
yeah. I don't know how you couldn't like you. The universe is so big. There's so many. There's trillions. Like not even. There's trillions, billions to trillions in our own galaxy of
mhm.
stars with trillions of planets. Okay, well more than trillions of planets, like fucking quintillion planets, like an absurd amount. And that's just in our galaxy. If you expand that to the entire universe, like you would have to assume that there would have to be some other life out there. It may not be as smart as us because we don't know what the actual threshold is
Mhm.
for like the bottleneck. Have you heard of the bottleneck theory?
Yeah, yeah.
So we don't know where that cap is. Like, is intelligence the cap? Like, is that what we
Right.
need to get past by to be where we're at today? Or is there a bottleneck that's further ahead of us that we have to get past? Like, we don't know yet.
Right.
Um, but I think at least microbial life or even animal slash plant life should exist out there somewhere.
It
Maybe not.
absolutely does.
Yeah,
And the thing is too is like you're just ignorant if you can't get past believing that. Like
yeah,
it's just straight ignorance. Like you can't even say that like a fungus exists somewhere, like something that is living
yeah.
exists somewhere. Like you just don't at that point you're just trying to find reasons to say it doesn't.
It might be because people can't fathom the actual size of the universe. So you can't like. It's
Yeah, you can't
so
you can't
you
compare it to
can't.
anything.
Yeah, it's so enormous. Like there's no comparison. It's like it's just hard to think about in your head of how huge and vast the universe actually is.
Mhm.
Um, so maybe that's why. But okay, let's. It's 11 minutes. Do we want to watch all of it or? Just
yeah. I mean, you can put the whole thing on. If you have to cut it, you can always cut it.
okay.
Whistleblower complaint that the inspector general is taking very seriously. 36-year-old Air Force veteran David Grush is exposing what he calls a top secret military program that has reportedly found wreckage of fully intact UFOs. The government now calls them UAPs, or unidentified anomalous phenomena. For years, there have been whispers and rumors that the government had aircraft of non-human origin. This report is the first evidence it might be true. The Inspector General has called Grush's complaint urgent and credible. Tonight, we have a World Television exclusive interview with the...
Where was this? Do you remember what that picture's from?
I don't. I remember seeing it. I don't remember.
That was like so long ago, I feel like.
Yeah.
Whistleblower, in which he claims we not only have the aircraft,
Was this in
but
California?
the government has been keeping much of its secret from Congress and from the public. News Nation senior national correspondent Brian Enton is here with the story, and this is a blockbuster.
It is a blockbuster. It's really hard to wrap your mind around this. I've been working on this for the past couple of weeks. I'm still having a hard time processing all of it. Over the last couple of years, it sort of became mainstream to discuss UFOs. The government has released videos. They've acknowledged that we don't know what some of this stuff is out there that we have on camera, but this really takes it all to another level. For the very first time, the world is about to hear from a former...
A lot of the stuff that we have on camera, though, like from phones and stuff, I feel like is pretty fake. Most of it, anyways.
The problem is nobody can catch it on anything better than a flip phone camera. 2 megapixels.
It's like 144p. Like,
yeah, the only thing I had on me was my 1 megapixel camera. I'm sorry.
I had the what's those the Polaroids? Say the fucking Polaroid camera.
Former high-level
like
U.S. intelligence officer who says the government has some of the unidentified craft in its possession.
Aliens just
he is
know.
revealing these exclusive details
get a good video of this?
about the secret government program.
We're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west.
Oh, this is the one that I was talking about earlier.
Wow.
Yeah, this is David Fravor. I'm pretty sure that's the dude's name.
Video evidence, if you will, that old tales of UFOs may not all be conspiracy theories. In recent years, Congress starting an official U.S. government Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, recently renamed the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO. And now in a News Nation exclusive, David Grush, an Air Force veteran...
What is that, bro? He had a bow tie with his like uniform. I don't know. I feel like this is...
I was wrong earlier. It's not unidentified aerial phenomena. It's unidentified...
I thought it said aerial.
Oh, did he? Okay, my bad. I guess I was right then. I think the chick in the beginning said something different.
I don't even remember. What was I gonna say?
Elizabeth Vargas was wrong and I was right. I'm calling her out right now.
I feel like it's so weird. They're just forming this program. Like, you think this program would have been going on for... I mean, maybe they didn't have like a dedicated program before for the UFO retrieval. You know what I'm saying? Like, they said they just organized a task force.
If they did have it, it was secret because they do have secret agencies.
So you think this is like the official one?
So I think probably what it was is it was secret because they didn't want it to get out, and now that it's kind of becoming, public knowledge that this thing exists, people are going to start asking questions. If it exists, why don't we have things in place? Yeah. Why don't we have a task force in place to, kind of combat that? So,
do you think this is more like the front task force? Like, this is like the public task force, and they still have a hidden one, or what do you think?
I think it can go either way. I mean, a lot of people also get wrong what the Space Force is. So the Space Force wasn't put in place to necessarily combat aliens, but
Yeah. It's more for
yeah, I
like
feel like it's
missiles.
right.
and
I feel
stuff.
like it's more of a meme that like the Space Force is a joke. Like I feel like it's kind of like, oh, the Star Wars branch, like it's a joke. But
Yeah, I like I
but
don't
it's a real
obviously.
thing.
Yeah, obviously, I think it was pretty smart, the creation of the Space Force, having like a dedicated military branch to space operations and stuff like that. Especially because the next step for mankind is space. So
Exactly.
you want a dedicated military branch to be able to do anything with space affairs and stuff like that. Especially since a lot of these missiles and stuff come in from the outer bounds of the Earth's atmosphere, like basically in space and like cruise down, and we want to be ready for them. Anyways, let's get back to this.
Former member of that task force and veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency is formally blowing the whistle on secrets he says no one has ever shared publicly before.
You are one of the most trusted
Can you pause that real quick?
former intelligence officials.
He's actually wrong. He's not the first one to do it, because if he is not lying, if this dude is not lying, and if the dude I'm about to say is not lying, then he's definitely not the first to come forward. But the first to come forward of saying that we have these is actually Bob Lazar. I don't know if you saw.
Was it on Joe Rogan? Is that what you're talking about?
I think he was on Joe Rogan, but there's actually a documentary, I guess you could call it, on Bob Lazar. Jeremy Corbell actually, he actually created the whole thing, but I forget what it's called. It's like Bob Lazar, UFOs, and something, and flying saucers or something like that. But
Yeah.
anyway, go ahead.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think they're just trying to get the headline. Honestly, I think it's just the news nations. The first to come out. You know, everyone wants to be the first to release a.
Yeah, and actually, David Fravor could be like the first, because he actually came out in a New York Times post, actually covered it, that when he would go out flying, like doing tests with his crew, I don't know what they call them, but with his flight crew, they would see these things, and actually they would jam their radar and everything, which is actually an act of war.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they would jam, like the unidentified object would jam their radar, and again, that's an act of war, so they had to take it very seriously. So they tried to follow the thing, and they couldn't catch it. It was ridiculously too fast. It was defying gravity and everything. So
yeah, they actually, I think this guy talks about it. There is some pretty bold claims that this guy drops, so that could also, well, definitely fall under acts of war. So we'll see when we get
Was
there.
in the US Defense and Intelligence Establishment.
Yes, I was.
You were trusted with the most intimate secrets.
Yes.
Grush sitting down with award-winning
Doesn't this
investigative
guy's
journalist
face look
Ross
weird?
Coulthart, who's reporting for News Nation and has spent years reporting on the UFO question.
What conclusion did you come to at the end of your time on the UAP task force?
The UAP task force was refused access to a broad crash retrieval program.
When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
How many?
Quite a number.
You're kidding.
No. I thought it was totally
Give us
nuts,
a
and I
number.
thought at first I was being deceived. It was a ruse. People started confiding in me. They approached me. I have plenty of current and former senior intelligence officers that came to me, many of which I knew almost my whole career, that confided in me they were a part of a program. They named the program. I've never heard of it. And they told me, based on their oral testimony, and they provided me documents and other proof that there was, in fact, a program that the UAP task force was not read into.
Grush alleges the U.S. government has recovered non-human craft for decades. He's filed a whistleblower complaint saying he gave what he calls the classified proof to Congress and the Intelligence Community Inspector General. News Nation has confirmed David Grush's credentials and resume. We've not seen or verified the alleged proof he says he's provided to investigators. He says he can't show us the proof for national security reasons. He also tells us he's not seen photos of the alleged craft himself, but has talked extensively with other intelligence officials who have.
If you're right, if you're telling us the truth, everyone, the entire American public, has been lied to for decades.
Yeah, there's a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting the U.S. populace, which is extremely unethical and immoral.
You are saying to the human race, for the first time, an official
It's not the first time.
intelligence representative at a high level from the US government is saying publicly, we are not alone.
We're definitely not alone. Absolutely, the data points empirically that we're not alone, yeah.
Do we have bodies? Do we have species of
Well,
non-human?
naturally, when you recover something that's either landed or crashed,
See, that well was like, yeah, I can't say anything like that.
But let's see if he actually answers the question. Or is he just going to beat around the bush and say, well, normally when a plane crashes, you find dead bodies. You know, we'll see what he says.
sometimes you encounter dead pilots. And believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true.
It's also harder for people to wrap their minds around the concept of a crashed object from somewhere else. It's easier to accept that, yeah, we see things in the sky that we can't explain.
Journalist Leslie Kane broke Rush's whistleblower story this morning in the debrief. Ms. Kane's career has been mainstream and credible, having written a series of reports on UFOs in the New York Times dating back to 2017. He has the credentials, but there's no documents that he's handed over. There's no pictures. And as a journalist, you want to see documents, you want to see pictures. Does that raise a red flag?
Not at all, Brian. I mean, you mean documents that actually describe the craft?
Correct, yeah, like government documents, or to be able to see it for ourselves.
Of course, don't we all want that? And the problem with that is all of that information is classified. You know, as we said in the story, everything that Grush told Congress and told the inspector.
I think if they really want us to believe this, they should at least release one thing, like one concrete proof that we can see, like to actually release it to the public. At least one thing. Until we see that, I'm skeptical.
Well, I mean, the Pentagon has released a bunch, many documents. The problem is when there's classified information inside the document, they
just black it out.
They black it out. So it's like you're not even really releasing the document. You're just
you're not releasing the crucial information that we're trying to look at here.
Exactly. But I agree. I think one document needs to be solid, everything there, nothing blacked out. I agree. I think that's what we need.
Well, so they've released some of like the pilot footage and stuff, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's evidence enough. I want to see like an actual like spacecraft. Like I want to see it, like clear footage, clear photos or something. At least just something tangible.
But nowadays it's so easy to fake.
Yeah.
Like
I mean they could just fake it.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. It's
like
so
they faked
easy.
the moon landing.
We don't even need to get into
I'm joking.
I could talk about that for hours. You could just take a picture of anything. I could take a picture of my house and turn it into a spacecraft on Photoshop now. So I don't know. I would need to see it in person.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is even if we could see it in person, they could also like make something that kind of looks alien or something like that. If they really wanted to fuck with us, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. I need something like tangible. I need to see something. I want to see the alien itself.
I wanna see something more than what they're giving me. That's for goddamn.
Yeah, for sure.
Inspector General of both the IC, the Intelligence Community Inspector General, and the Department of Defense Inspector General. All of that information is classified.
In 2017, Kane reported exclusively in the New York Times that the Pentagon had a secret UFO program. 3 years later, the Pentagon confirmed her story. Her latest report is even more explosive, but Kane says she has multiple sources who back up Grush's story.
I believe it because of all the sources I have who have told me the same thing. So who am I to doubt these very, very high-level people who have been inside these programs for decades, have done their work, and are all telling me the same thing? I mean, I don't think there's some kind of conspiracy among all these people who don't know each other to make something like this up.
So I've got to be blunt about this. You're not making this up. This is not a lie.
No, absolutely not.
Because everybody watching this right now is looking at your face. They're going, is this guy for real?
I am for real. And I'm sitting here at great personal risk and obvious professional risk by talking to you today.
And just within the last 10 minutes or so, the Pentagon has released a
He
statement
closes
to
his
News
eyes
Nation
when he
about
says shit that's controversial.
What's that?
Every time he says something that like is this a lie? He like closed his eyes like this, and he's like, no. And then he opened up his eyes. Then he was like, people are looking at your face right now, and he's like, I understand that. And then he opened his eyes again. So I don't know, bro. He's giving me weird vibes.
Yeah.
But then again, he said he is at a high personal risk, like for everything. But I mean, he's
Well,
probably safe.
So I thought I could have sworn the CIA like gave him clearance to release this. I don't know if that they're just about to talk about it here, but let's watch a little bit further because I want to see if they actually gave him permission.
out this report. They say to date, Arrow has not discovered any verifiable information to substantiate claims that any programs regarding the possession or reverse engineering of extraterrestrial materials have existed in the past or exist currently. Arrow is committed to following the data and its investigation wherever it leads. Arrow, working with the Office of the General Counsel and the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, has established a safe and secure process for individuals to come forward with information to aid Arrow in its congressionally mandated historical review. Arrow's historical review of records and testimonies is ongoing and due to Congress by June 2024, and Arrow welcomes the opportunity to speak with any former or current employee or contractor who believes they have information relevant to this historical review. And Elizabeth, we know that David Grush, he's filed that whistleblower complaint. He's been on the record under oath testifying to many of these things that he said in our report tonight.
Right, and it's important to point out that this statement from the Pentagon from Arrow, Grush is alleging that this top secret program is keeping it a secret from Arrow. So.
Yeah, exactly. And if Grush is, what he's saying is true, the spokespeople, all of those folks at that level wouldn't even know this was going on anyway.
All right, I got to ask you, he has a compelling story to tell. Very little of it seems like firsthand knowledge. Isn't he just repeating what somebody else has told him or somebody else has showed him?
Yes, that is what he's doing, but he says he's talked to a number of people who are in very, very high-level positions. He also had basically the highest level of classified material information that he was able to receive. We went back and checked over, his history, all of his credentials, check out completely. Unfortunately, there's
in addition, a couple people have come forward publicly to vouch for him. People who.
Okay, I think this is it.
Yeah. So yeah, I brought that up earlier. The information, like when we were reading through that article, it said technically he's not even, well, I guess he is alleging too, but most of the people that he's talking to are alleging it. He's just kind of like secondhand, I have no information, or it's not that he doesn't have information.
He doesn't have direct information.
Right. I don't have direct information. I have word of mouth information.
Yeah.
I have information that was given to me that I am going to put out into the public.
Maybe this is a whole big government psyop trying to fucking trick the populace.
That's, bro, who knows?
I don't know. It seems a little sus. Like, oh, I heard it from an organization that's even higher up than Arrow. Like that last line is like, I don't know.
But I will say there is proof and evidence that the government does have programs that they hide.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. Yeah.
so I mean, he literally said it himself. He's like, it's a program I've never even heard of.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm sure tons of the people in the CIA or any government agency really don't have clearance of like the top secret stuff in
yeah,
there.
yeah. But then again, like, who would have it if that's the
Like
case?
top officials, like the whatever the heads of the organizations are, and like a few close.
That would be so insane to have information like that. Like, imagine going home
Yeah.
to your family and you just look at them like, I know something you don't.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't
I
even
mean,
imagine having to go home and let that eat me alive while my kids are just like eating dinner.
well, there's like lower forms of intelligence stuff, like that aren't like super top secret. Like there's different clearance levels,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there's plenty of people who have to go home to their families and be like, yeah, I can't tell you what I do at work. They literally can't say anything.
I mean, technically speaking, there's professions all over. Like, I'm pretty sure cops can't even go home and tell their families what happened, like at work and shit. So I mean, I guess, but like if it's something like this, I wouldn't know if I'd be able to bite my tongue. Like, I would just be dying to tell somebody. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't know. Maybe the agency will fucking kill you for.
That's true. That's my point. They gotta like let that eat them alive, and then they have to let the fact that if they do say something, that they'll be dead in an instant, and it'll be like Epstein just he killed himself.
I don't know. If I had to sign an oath that that I couldn't release any of the information, I probably would be able to follow it, but damn, it'd probably eat me alive sometimes.
Oh, dude, it would be so hard. Like, I have way too many homies that I'm close to. I'd be like, yo, I gotta tell y'all something. I gotta tell y'all, bro. It's real. It's real. They coming to get me right now, but y'all know it's real. Tell my story, please.
The FBI and the CIA are checking the discords now. Can't drop them anymore. You know that one Air Force kid. It was
Oh
called,
my god,
Jack the Dripper.
yeah,
dropping fucking classified information in his Discord.
that's insane, bro.
That's
insane.
Bro,
it took them so long. It took them so long to find that out, bro.
Dude, I can't believe his name was Jack the
Dripper.
That shit's so funny.